Ever feel torn between your gut feelings as well as signs from the universe when it comes to your love life? In this video, I'm going to show you how you can decide whether you should use your intuition or whether you should use signs from the universe when you are unsure about making the decision regarding a person. I had a client by the name of Sarah, and Sarah was in this dilemma where she couldn't really figure out whether she should use her intuition or whether she should use signs from the universe. By the end of this video, you'll see how Sarah kind of made her decision. And if you are having a conflict between intuition as well as signs from the universe, you'll figure out how to decide which one to use in order to make your decision. Hello, everybody. I am Vaishali Nekhade. I'm an engineer turned psychic. And with over 9,000 readings under my belt, I show you how you can leverage the power of stars for your love life. So here's what you're going to learn in this video. The first one is definition of intuition as well as signs from the universe. When you should trust your intuition, when you should trust signs from the universe, and balancing intuition as well as signs from the universe for a decision. Your goal is to figure out what you are good at, especially when there is a conflict between your intuition as well as signs from the universe, so that when you meet someone or when you come across somebody special, you'll kind of know which tool you need to use in order to make a decision before the movie actually plays out in real life. All right, so let's get started. So the first one is the definition of intuition. So intuition is, it's a little bit of a broad term, but essentially it is like a gut feeling, or it is something that gives you an internal sign or an internal signal related to a situation, related to a person. And most of the times the way it comes in, it's more of a, I don't want to say warning, but it usually comes in before the thing plays out in real life. For instance, let's say that you are going to have an accident. So maybe before you actually go out, you may have an uneasy feeling that really you shouldn't go, or that you should take a different route, those kind of things. So essentially think of it as something which gives you a warning sign, but before the physical occurrence of an event. Because after the event occurs, you already know the answer. So then it's a different story. So that's really what intuition is. But the main thing to understand is intuition is mainly internal. So now we go to signs from the universe, and signs from the universe are more like external messages. All right, so let's say that this is the universe, okay? And then this is your person. So this is yourself. So now intuition is more like of an inner sense, or it's a sense of the spirit, but it's more internal. So intuition is more like internal to you. All right, so now we look at signs from the universe, and signs from the universe are more external. So let's say that maybe you see a red light. That could be a sign. Maybe you have like a glass or something and you drop it and you break it. That could be a sign. So these signs are more external. However, in order for you to be able, so let's say these are the signs. So these are the signs. So this is the universe, these are the signs, and this is you. So in order for you to be able to interpret these signs or connect with these signs, there is a bridge, and this bridge is actually also nothing but intuition. So this is the bridge. So think of this bridge, and this bridge is nothing but intuition, and intuition is the bridge that connects you to be able to interpret the signs. The signs you can see with your physical senses. However, in order for you to be able to understand that this is a sign, and enable for you to be able to interpret that this is what the sign means, intuition is actually the bridge that is going to do the job. So that is the difference between intuition as well as signs from the universe. One is more internal, this is more external. This is more of an inner sense, it's a sense of the spirit, whereas the signs can be seen physically with your naked eyes, or if it's a sound, then you can hear it. So essentially you can hear them with your physical senses. However, in order for you to be able to interpret these signs, you have to leverage the power of intuition. All right, so that's the difference between intuition as well as signs from the universe. So when do you exactly trust your intuition? So as I mentioned before, since intuition is a sense of the spirit, everybody has a different way in which their intuition is going to operate. So for instance, some people may actually see images in front of them. So for instance, let's say that I ask you to think about a person and you see the image of that person in your, I want to say, through your sixth sense or through your third eye, but essentially what you see is a mental image picture of the person. It is not the physical appearance of a person, or it's not the physical body of a person, but what you see is a mental image picture. So some people may see images, and these images may actually form a story, and this story will kind of connect the dots as to what the answer is going to be. And this sense is known as clairvoyance. So if your clairvoyance is one of your stronger senses, then you may be able to actually see these images or flashes of images and connect the dots between these images to be able to interpret the story. So that is one way. The second one is more like sounds. So let's say that this is your ear. So usually we hear physical sounds, which is sounds. So this is a person, let's say. So we hear physical sounds, which are just sounds which are in the human frequency range. But there is also something which is, let's say, a soft whisper, which is you kind of hear it, but it's not a physical sound. And that is clairaudience. That is your ability to be able to listen to a message which is outside the human frequency. So clairaudience is essentially a sense, again, it is a sense of the spirit. It just happens that one of my stronger senses is clairaudience. So if something is going to happen, especially if something bad is going to happen, then I kind of just hear a message. It just pops in from nowhere, it gives me the punchline, and it's gone. And then I'm left wondering if it's true or not, or I'm left wondering how it is going to play out. So in order for me to do that, I probably need to see some signs or get additional confirmation. And this is something I'm going to cover. It's covered in another video. That is clairaudience. And claircognizance is actually just knowing the answer, which means that you just know the answer without knowing the details of anything. And essentially, you would just have to wait and watch and see how that movie is going to play out in real life. It depends on how you flex your muscle or how often you have flexed your intuitive muscle. If you have been flexing your intuitive muscle for a long time, when the intuitive messages come in, you essentially know that, okay, this is pretty much what is going to happen, kind of a thing. Or if it's a warning message, or if it's a good thing, then you know you're excited that, oh, something good is going to happen. So essentially, if you have a strong connection with your intuition, then you can absolutely trust your intuition and just wait and see how things are going to play out. The main thing is that if the message is a warning sign, then you can tread a little bit cautiously in your real life and just see that you don't invest as much time or as much, let's say, emotional investment, so that when you come out on the other end, you are not hurt as much. So that is when you can trust your intuition, essentially when you have a strong connection with your intuitive senses. So when exactly do you trust signs from the universe? So signs from the universe, essentially, like I mentioned before, intuition is the bridge. So this is the universe, these are the signs, and then this is you, and then intuition is the bridge that connects the signs to yourself. So technically, intuition actually also plays a part in signs from the universe, but it's slightly different, because in this particular scenario, what happens is, even though intuition is just acting as a bridge, but you are actually seeing the physical signs. So let's say that this is the universe, and then these are all the signs coming here, and this is you, and the signs are, so these signs are coming to you. But in order for you to be able to interpret that this is a sign, you need a bridge, and that bridge is intuition. Because there are so many things that you see throughout your day. depending on your environment, if you get exposed to new environment every day, then you are going to see a huge number of images all throughout. Let's say that you have a long drive. You're going to see a huge images all throughout the day. How do you know which image is a sign and which image is not? And in order for you to be able to get that, intuition is the bridge that connects you and tells you, oh, this is the sign, and this sign is actually telling me the answer to my question. So again, intuition has to kick in and tell you, otherwise you may just ignore it as something which is just like a day-to-day occurrence kind of a thing. Now, if your intuition feels clouded, which means that you feel that your intuition is weak and you can't really flex your intuitive muscles as much, then it is better for you to use signs from the universe, because essentially you're physically seeing the signs and then your intuition is connecting you to the answer. So that is signs from the universe. Now, how exactly do you decide whether to use intuition or signs from the universe? This is a trick question because in essence, you don't really know the answer on whether to use intuition or signs from the universe. So there's 4 scenarios that could play out, and I'm going to deal with all of them so that you know which one to use all the time. So let's say that this is intuition and this is signs from the universe. And let's take Sarah's story. So in one case, Sarah's intuition says yes and signs from the universe say yes. So if that is the case, then she pretty much knows that things are going to move forward and there is a good possibility that it will yield or lead to a long-term relationship. So now let's say that her intuition says yes, but the signs say no. So now, which one is it that she needs to trust? Should she trust her intuition or should she trust signs from the universe? Well, it's unlikely that the universe is going to send you a sign which is going to conflict with the actual answer. Let's assume in this case that the intuition is correct and this answer is a yes. So essentially, you are saying that the universe is sending you a sign which is conflicting with the actual answer. Most of the times that's not possible. It's just because you're probably interpreting a sign which is not really a sign, and because of that, you're getting this answer as a no. So if you're conflicted between intuition and signs from the universe, you have to have exercised both these abilities before and kind of know which is a stronger one. And if you know your intuition is a stronger one, then you're more likely to be able to use this and trust intuition over the signs. So now let's say that intuition says no and signs from the universe says yes. And let's say that the answer in this case is a no. So in this case, again, it is the same thing. Your interpretation of the signs from the universe is not correct. If it was the other way and this was a yes, then it would mean that your intuition is not strong enough that you're able to decode the message. So in that particular scenario, you're better off using signs from the universe. And then the last one, if this is a no and this is a no, then it's a no-brainer, because what would happen is if you have intuition saying no as well as signs from the universe saying no, then it's just a matter of time before things fall apart. And then you just have to wait and watch and see how things actually play out in real life. The good part about it is that you won't have so much of an emotional investment. You won't really be that, let's say you won't really be that committed, or you would still have those doubts lingering in your mind. And because of that, you're going to say, or you're going to kind of tread a little bit more cautiously. So that is the advantage of using intuition as well as signs from the universe. So now that you know how to balance your intuition as well as signs from the universe, you may be wondering what specific signs should you look for when you first meet someone or first come across someone. The first interaction is really important because there are some obvious clues that come out in the first interaction, and if you know what to look for, you have to know what to look for. If you know what to look for, then you can catch up on those clues, and essentially it will give you an answer as to where things are going to go or how things are going to go. So that is the subject of my next video, and I'll see you in my next video.